Hello all my Kinvians, bringing you a little something different here with this review. Endgame. Marvel's Endgame. The Avengers. The majority of you probably won't watch this until after you've already seen it, despite the fact that this is a spoiler-free review, and in fact, the majority of people who are going to see Endgame are already planning on seeing it, and have already determined that they want to see it. So me making this video in the end doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I'm making it for a few reasons. First of all, just to get my simple opinion of it out there after having seen the movie. Also to give you a little bit of information, and to also make an announcement. I will first make the announcement, and that is there will be a spoiler review coming out for Endgame. It is something that I'm going to work on over the next few weeks because, well, as I will explain here in just a few moments, I feel it is a movie that deserves a full review for me. And it's not something that I can really fully touch on without touching on spoilers. So in that case, it will be a full spoiler-filled review, which, I don't expect people to watch until after they've already seen it. That being said, as for my opinion on the movie as a whole, I really enjoyed it. This is the Marvel movie that, it is the culmination of the past 11 years. This is kind of a marketing blurb at this point because this is all over the internet too. 11 years, 22 films, since the beginning of the official Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man, culminating in this movie. And it does have some flaws. It does have some flaws. That is, again, something that I will talk about more in the actual spoiler-filled review, but as a whole, it is a really good movie. I apologize for background noise. Charlie is chewing on a bone currently. That's what happens when you film in your house. Anyway, I highly recommend seeing this movie. Again, I know those of you that are planning to see it are already going to. If you're on the fence about it, I highly recommend you go see it. If you don't care for the Marvel films as a whole, if you don't really care for superhero movies, well, this isn't going to change your mind. But if you are a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not even necessarily all of it, but just some or the majority of it, this movie is worth seeing, and I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. Truly. So, yeah, in that regard, definitely go see it. Now, there is one last thing that I want to touch on, and this is something I'm going to mention in the description wherever I post this video. I do have one significant issue with this movie, and it is something I can say without spoilers, but it is something that I want to put out there to warn you all, or warn people in case this might be an issue for them. Again, without naming any of the characters. A character experiences extreme PTSD in this movie, and it affects them in many ways. Physically, emotionally, so on. And the movie does not handle it well. And what I mean by that is, yes, the character that experiences these things, the way they act feels legitimate. The way it's acted feels mostly realistic. It feels true to that character if you take into context what they've been through. However, the problem is the way that other characters are reacting to this character and what they're going through. And because of the significant, personality difference, appearance difference, everything that happened to them. And there's a lot of really bad jokes done at it, or done at the character's expense. And for the most part, when it comes to those kind of jokes, it's like I tend to be able to look past them usually, but every time the jokes were made, it felt in contrast with everything else in the movie. Like literally, what I'm complaining about right now is the weakest part of this entire movie that I loved, but it is definitely an issue. So, I'm saying, just to sort of summarize here, if you personally would have issue with someone making fun of PTSD, someone making fun of if you have PTSD or depression, and it's like, you know, and a person would overeat, go to drinking, things like that. If that would bother you, that's something to keep in mind for this movie. Now, it is not hugely prevalent through the movie, but it is an issue nonetheless. And what really bothered me personally was that I was noticing these things, but a lot of the people around me were laughing. And I know that's what they were going for. It's meant to be funny. It's meant to just be for a laugh, some lightheartedness. And there is a lot of jokes and lightheartedness in this movie. That works, that lands. But when they do it with this character, again, primarily with the way other characters are reacting or saying things to the character, it really falls short and it really bothers me. It really does. So again, I just wanted to put that out there for anyone that if you know someone with PTSD, if you have PTSD, and you know you might be sensitive to that kind of subject, that's something to keep in mind before going in to see this movie. There will be parts surrounding that you will not like. So please do keep that in mind if you decide to go see the movie. But as a whole, if you're able to look past that, it is still a really good, solid film, and one that I highly recommend, its issues aside. But again, thank you all for being here. If you have seen the movie, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I look forward to working on and completing my full review of this movie, and some of you out there I might hit up for just some thoughts, things to throw into the spoiler-filled review, or rather just the full review. But until next time everyone, I am Papa Ken, and I will see you in the Endgame.